All right, I'd like to call to order the Bristol, Virginia City Council for March 26, 2019. At this time, please join in a moment of silence. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, looks like spring's holding out for us. Good weather today. It's a little warm. Get outside and do some work. So a lot of good activities are starting to show up. So I hope everybody's enjoying the weather. We don't have a long agenda tonight. We've got some important items. We've got some things we're going to replat up at the Falls. So looks like the Falls is still going to have some forward momentum for us. So one of the developers involved is wanting to talk to some clients and look at some different ways to move some of that property and do things up there that's positive for us. So that's good. And we'll have some more discussions on the budget maybe tonight, or definitely going forward. We'll talk about that a little more. And then we'll do some closures. I think one of the clients here in town, Quaker Steak's here with us, so they're going to amp it up in the next month or two, and they got some dates they're going to want to set aside to have some entertainment downtown. So with that said, any council comments?
I've got one.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank everyone that came out this weekend for the Kim Burns documentary at the Paramount. That was really nice to get a sneak peek of that, and for a sold-out crowd there was a lot of enthusiasm. And I know Mr. McGee has written a couple articles in the paper, but I would just encourage everyone when that comes out in September to watch it, because I think it's going to tell a very important part of our city's history, and it's great to have it featured by such prominent documentarian on PBS nationwide. So I just encourage people as it gets closer to September to set your DVRs and make sure you watch that.
Okay, any other council? Okay, city manager?
Council, just want to let you know, this week we've had a pretty productive week in regards to economic development. Today I had 2 meetings with 2 different entities in regards to some economic development projects here in the city of Bristol. I think we've got some good potential for one of the buildings, and I think we may have a couple of matches actually for one of the buildings. So it seems like we have things going in the right direction. The developers seem to, they've placed their faith, I think, back in Bristol, Virginia now, and they are seeing an opportunity to come in and grow with us and help us do that. So that's always good news. In regards to tonight's recommended budget, Mayor's already alluded. I just ask that you all table that, and we will proceed with the budget presentation on April the 9th.
Okay. All right, matters to be presented, non-agenda items. We got Ginger Fleener.
My name is Ginger Fleener. I live at 239 Sherwood Road. So the last meeting that you guys held, I was not here for it. Better late than never. I watched the video. I was very not shocked, but disturbed at some of the attitude that went on. Over the weekend, I've had to deal with calming myself down. Like you all know, I'm at Highland View every day. I see the building. I'm there. I know what's going on. I say that to say this. When doing this budget, I know he had proposed the new school again. Okay. The school system needs more than a building. It needs more than a building. A building is not going to fix the issues that are inside these walls. I had an incident happen Friday that I knew nothing about that took place for 2 weeks with one of my children. I'm not happy, and yes, I will be going to the school board meeting next week. I say that to say this. Everything that has been going on for 3 years, beyond that, for about 20-some years, it's always been talk. From my understanding about this school system, getting a new school, and everything else. In the process of doing so, they have failed to take care of what's inside this building. A building is not going to fix this stuff. I'm tired of hearing talking. I know you guys just deal with the money, I get that. But they need to take responsibility somewhere. And I give you guys kudos. You all took on the debt of this city. You all are doing really good at doing what you're doing. I know there's going to be decisions made that I personally will not be happy with. But hey, whatever it takes to get us out of this mess, I say go for it. I'm very understanding, and I'm really trying to be nice about all of this. In the process of that, I had extended an olive branch, so to speak, and it got cut off. I was told I needed to go get me a group and find grants myself. Okay. There's a lot of things going on that the school system, the school board, the superintendent need to be responsible for. Somewhere along the lines, they need to get their big boy britches on and go with this full force to take care of these kids. And it has nothing to do with a building to fix these issues.
Thank you. All right, Jack Johnson.
Good evening. I'm Jack Johnson. I live at 209 Sunrise Street. I like to address the trash rates. Y'all have went up on trash rate for years. Every city council has raised trash rates, every one of you. And now I learned that you're cutting services. I cut off my deck railing and put it down the road, and I was told by the city it's going to cost me $65. I have always, for 50 years, put this in down at the road. Why all of a sudden are we cutting it? I'm asking you gentlemen.
Go ahead, we'll talk in a second.
Which one of you going to say why we're doing this?
Well, we're not cutting services yet, sir. We haven't decided to cut
Okay,
services. We
you
just
know-
decided on the rates.
Yeah, but you don't need a rate increase. What you need to start doing is looking at top salary over $75,000 and cutting some of this, help pay the expense. I'm on Social Security. I had a $5,000 hospital last year. I'm looking at $5,000 more this year. I can't keep up with y'all and everything. And so why did we stop picking up stuff? Nobody can give me an answer. I was told by city manager to come to council and ask y'all, so I did. So I think I deserve a response.
Okay, I'll comment here in just a second.
Okay,
You got anything else?
that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, by the way, one of the doctors at the cancer center has requested somebody come out on Isles Road and clean that place up. A lot of citizens come through there from North Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, and I've met a lot of people out there. I spent 15 months out there with them. Holland Road. I mean, Doug, everybody, Kentucky people from Kentucky come in there and their families come. There's people from West Virginia, North and South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. And you go out that road and it looks like a trash dump.
I'll have the trustees out there one day this week.
Okay. So, thank y'all for y'all thing.
All right, thank you. All right, let's, I think Jackie Norfland, you're signed up for an agenda item, correct?
Huh?
Now, the agenda item, I'm talking to Ms. Norfland.
Oh.
She's, it looks like that may get tabled, so if you want to speak now, you probably want to come up.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
My question is, are you gonna pick up my trash? That I cut off the deck, finish up.
Okay, well, I'll address the trash thing. We've not decided, we're still in the budget process, but we had 2 work sessions on the landfill. I think we tried to explain to the community, the big issue with the landfill is, the landfill's been subsidized by the general fund for years, so that it's not, we cannot cover the cost of the landfill. It's been like that for 20 years since it opened. So, in effect, the citizens have been paying for the landfill from real estate and property taxes. So we've been scooting money from real estate and property, the general fund, just scooting it over to pay for the landfill because revenues can't cover expenses. So we're trying to correct that problem. So our plan at least is, as the rates go up to start making the landfill self-sustaining, we're eventually going to have to start bringing the real estate and property taxes down. So that's at least my intent, because you cannot, you can't subsidize one enterprise zone by moving property taxes over. So people don't understand the landfill, the golf course, they're enterprise funds, meaning they're supposed to break even. They're supposed to be run like a business. So the revenues coming in are supposed to sustain the costs, and that's never occurred. So when that landfill was open, a couple problems happened. There was too much debt put in that landfill to get it open, and then liners were borrowed for years and years. So that debt accumulation has ballooned to $35 million. That's what we're facing right now. And so there's $2.2 million a year now we have to pay just to pay the debt, the principal and interest of $35 million. And so the collection that the citizens have, and the collection that the businesses have, and the rates that the people from outside the city limits that bring trucks in, none of those rates have ever covered the costs. And so there's lots of issues with the landfill. So we've got to correct the rate discrepancy, because rates were kept flat. In other words, they weren't raised for about 10 years, from the early 2000s to 2010 to 12. There was absolutely no rate increase. So inflation actually through those years kept going up. So if you just tracked inflation, it said that our trash rate should have been somewhere around $28 to $30 just to keep up with inflation. But we didn't do that. We kept them down at $14, I think it was, and they just stayed there while inflation was going up. So we got lots of issues here that we got to address. One is trying to correct the rate for the citizens, try to make it fair, how much trash the citizens collect and putting in to make sure they're covering at least the cost of the collection and their portion of what's going in the landfill. So we're trying to look at it on a very fair basis, and of the tonnage going in the landfill, what's the rate need to be for the citizens? Of the tonnage going in for the businesses, what's the rate need to be? So it's probably the most difficult problem I would say the city's got in front of them, is trying to figure out how to deal with the landfill to really make it whole going forward. And some of the solution is going to have to be, unfortunately, a little rate increase that's going to occur across the board, and we're going to have to keep it there for a period of time until we get the costs under control. And that's just kind of where we are. So it's not a good picture, but we're now finally attacking it head on and trying to correct the problem.
Let me ask you one question.
Yeah, go
How
ahead.
long's a liner last? How many years?
Well, right now the estimates are going from 2 to 2.5 years, so it depends on how much trash is putting in. So we're challenging the landfill to change the way they're moving trash in there instead of pyramid, to try to put it in even, so we get a little bit more life in how we do it. So it's really only lasted us about 2 to 2.5 years. It's about the best we've gotten historically out of a liner. And we're trying to extend that to 3 to 4 years by being smarter about how we move the trash in there and how we operate it, and where we where we level it out and where we don't level it out. So operationally, there's some things we can do to try to extend the life of the liner.
I was just going to say, I think you did a good job explaining the problem we face. I know, Mr. Johnson, you called me a week or so ago and to voice this. And I think part of it's not just the rate, but it's about the service you're getting and
Right.
the items that are being picked up. And I think as you'd asked me, when did the city quit doing that? And I told you, to my knowledge, we hadn't. I know at one time we looked at not picking up grass or stuff. So I don't know if again, the city manager or Mr. McCulloch or somebody might be able to comment more directly to that. But to my knowledge, we haven't cut back on services. I know at one budget cycle we looked at that, it primarily brush pickup and stuff, but didn't. So I think your question, while you had a general comment, I think you have a more specific question, if I understood what you were saying the other day, right?
Yeah, like I said, I've put stuff down, and I'm going to put that down on the road, and I expect it to be paid up, because I'm paying the city already. And right now, with my cancer, it just about tapped us out. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Well, I've got a comment on that too. And I know back years ago, the city used to come through picking up everything. And then probably somewhere around 2006, 2007, they started cutting back on picking up tear out on houses, okay? It's hard to determine what a homeowner has set out at the road and what a contractor has set out at the road if he decides not to haul it off.
Right.
But back then, our rates were not what they are today. And at the rates that y'all are paying today, it's my personal belief that if you're working on your deck and you need new hand railing on your deck and you set the old railing out at the deck, the city should pick it up.
That's all I'm asking.
But if you go in and you've got your kitchen and you set everybody that out at the road, that's a different story.
Right, I agree with you.
Because, if you're prepared to go buy all the material to redo your kitchen, you need to be prepared to take it all to the landfill when you tear it out.
Right.
But, if a driver pulls up and sees just a few pieces of lumber, 15, 20, whatever, for hand railing, we should be picking that up at the rates that they're paying today.
I've
No.
got about an 8-foot wall to finish tearing down.
What's
That's all
that?
I got an 8-foot wall I need to finish tearing down and lay out. And it's probably about 25 tube of twos deck fence railing.
Okay.
One panel and one gate. It's got to be picked up. Now, if I had to haul it off, I'm going to just say, I don't need the city to do my my trash pickup. And I'll start a campaign to bring people in here that will do it for
Yeah.
less money.
Well, we just need a healthy balance there.
Right.
If it's marginal tear out, like redoing a deck or a ramp or something of that nature, I feel like we should be picking that up.
Okay.
But if you tear out your kitchen and put it all out the road, I got problems with that.
I agree with you there. Because especially if you got it contracted out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Michael, did you not get to sign up? Give me,
I was wondering if I might be able to address some of his concerns, because I helped rewrite the.
all right, I'll put you down. Come on up to Mike.
Thank you. My name is Michael Pollard, 101 Ashley Drive. I may be able to address some of the gentleman's concerns because I helped rewrite the modern trash ordinance. There was some consideration towards reducing services. That was not done at that time. We did raise the trash collection rate from $14 to $17 because that was the first increase in the trash collection rate in a very long time. And the city manager at that time, different city manager, recommended dropping services rather than raising rates. We chose not to do so. We were able to keep the services with a slight increase in rates. The trash ordinance allows for a certain number of cubic footage of household trash to be collected at the curbside, and that would be the case in this gentleman's case, where he has a little bit of remodeling waste that is explicitly allowed in code. Contractor waste is not allowed, and that was what you were talking about with a kitchen remodel, and it would probably be over the allowed cubic footage anyway. I have heard from other residents, though, when they have had relatively small amounts of remodeling waste, that it has been tagged as contractor waste, even though it's only a few cubic feet of trash, and city staff have not wanted to pick it up. So that's not the first time I've heard of this concern, but the trash ordinance is supposed to allow for it to be picked up under the current rates.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, before we get into the regular agenda items, are there any changes to the?
Yes, there is a change to the agenda. I would like to make the motion to table item 2, presentation of the budget, and postpone that till the next meeting.
Okay, so item 2 is a motion to table.
I'll second.
Okay, second, Mr. Hartley. Please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Wingard.
Yes.
Mumpower.
Yes. All right, on to item 1. We have considered resolution granting final plat approval for Plat 03-2019 for the Falls, Phase 3. Staff report.
I have some slides. Hopefully Rick has those up there. But as the mayor and council members, as the mayor mentioned, we do have a new plat for the Falls that you all had in your packet. It's for Phase 3, and it's a total of 7 lots, 11 acres. That'll come up in just a minute, I think. But just to show you some visuals on it, about half of the property will be new development, and the other half is comprised of the Pizza Platz lot and some undevelopable property. Rick, do you have that? No, I sent it to Jean. Okay, great. Well, you all had it in your packet.
We have it.
We have it.
And I have the larger plat here, and I'm sorry the slides didn't get where they need to go there. Let's see if there's anything else to point out. The Planning Commission approved the final plat, the preliminary and the final plat at their last meeting. And as I said, lots 26, 27, 28, and 31 are new buildable lots. That's 5.5 acres total. Lot 29 contains Pizza Plus. Lot 30 is the residue lot that has the creek and the steep terrain where Beaver Creek and floodplain below the falls there. Lot 32 is a small lot for a stormwater facility that was constructed with the Highway 11 expansion project. And a few things just to point out on the plat. There's a small little sliver of property along Lee Highway, I think in front of lots 28, 29, and 30. It's 0.156 acres. It's being vacated, city right-of-way to be vacated by the plat. It's no longer needed with the Lee Highway even after the expansion project. It's just a little extra property there. So that goes into the developable property of the falls. Two of the lots don't have direct access to Highway 11, 26, and 28, but there will be cross easements across Lot 27 with that right-in, right-out entrance. So you have lots from Cascade Drive, then a right-in, right-out entrance, and then the rest of the property to the east down to the railroad bridge. And there is a power line that's to be relocated that's on Lot 28 and 29. All those are on the plat, and there's notes about them on the plat. So the recommendation from the staff is for you all to, as required by city code, to approve and certify the plat, or pass the resolution in your packet, sorry.
I think we have that plat getting ready to pop up here in just a second. Maybe.
I don't have my phone on. Okay. Okay, that looks like just the image of the final plat, which is fine. I just had a few other slides, but that's all. That's what you're approving right there. Would be approving with the resolution.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit, Rick?
All right, so this is Cascade Drive. That's been constructed here. This is, I can't read the lot number, sorry, 26, 27, 28, Pizza Plus, 29. This is the stormwater pond right here. And then lot 30 is down by the creek, so there's no undevelopable property in there. And then 31 is a developable lot. So there's 4 lots to be developed and one that already has a restaurant in it, on it. So access to this lot will be through cross easements across this lot. Access to this lot will be off Cascade Drive as well as across 27. The right-of-way to be vacated is right in here, and there's a power line shown right here that will be relocated in order to allow for development of those lots. Any questions you all have?
Ms. Morgan, I look at plats quite often with my job. I don't have any questions with this. I think everything looks good to me, but my question was going to be, did anyone on the Planning Commission, I know they approved this, did anyone have any thoughts or concerns?
No? Mr. Wingard, can you speak to that? I don't think so.
No, I have no concerns.
Okay, any other questions from council?
Yay,
So,
yay. My pretty pictures.
so Cascade Drive will only go back as far as to the edge of Lot 31?
Yes.
Okay. And that is parallel, or cross street from Terrace?
Yes.
This Cascade
It is.
Okay.
It's immediately across from Terrace Drive,
Yeah.
which is over here. So basically, this has the information I just provided verbally. And this just was showing what was approved by the planning commission, and this shows the terrain, this shows the contours, so you can see the steep bank dropping off to the creek there.
Is that it? Okay, any other questions? All right. No one signed up for public comment, so please read the resolution.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Bristol, Virginia, approving the final plat number 03/2019 for the Falls Phase 3 subdivision. The City Council finds that whereas the subdivision plat for the Falls Phase 3 subdivision has been properly submitted to the city and reviewed by city staff, and whereas the Planning Commission met on March 18, 2019 and approved the preliminary plat and the final plat, and whereas Section 50-270 requires that the final plat of a subdivision be approved and certified by City Council before it can be recorded. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Bristol, Virginia, the Council approves and certifies the final plat number 03-2019 for the Falls Phase 3 subdivision as attached in Exhibit A, including the vacation of plus or minus 0.156 acres of city right-of-way along Lee Highway Route 11 as shown on the plat. Passed and adopted by the City Council of the City of Bristol, Virginia at a regularly scheduled meeting of said council on March 26, 2019.
All right, with the pleasure of council.
I move to approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, Mr. Osborne, second, Mr. Wingard. Any discussion? All right, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Wingard.
Yes.
Mumpower.
Yes. All right, on to agenda item 3. Consider a closed session pursuant to 2.2-3711A7 Code of Virginia 1950 as amended. Consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation, where such consultation or briefing in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body. In consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel, legal counsel. Need a second to motion.
Move that we enter into closed session for the reasons stated.
I second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Wingard.
Yes.
Mumpower.
Yes. All right, by roll call vote, council members certify that only business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements and specified in the motion to convene the executive session were discussed. Please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Wingard.
Yes.
Mumpower.
Yes. All right, before we move to the consent agenda, I still had Jackie on here for the budget, but we tabled the budget. You're good? Yes. Okay. All right, so on the consent agenda, is it the pleasure of council to approve as noted?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Okay. Got a motion, Mr. Osborne, second, Mr. Farnum. Please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Hartley.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Wingard.
Yes.
Mumpower.
Yes. Adjourned.